Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. That worked, maybe, I don't know. Anyways, good morning everyone. So today we're going to be working on this guy right here. I'm probably going to be making this car my daily. So my shocks are shot, they're 4C shocks. I'm not trying to buy the 4C shocks. I'm not trying to spend almost $1,000 for just 2 shocks, or probably $1,500 for all 4. I bought regular all-wheel drive shocks for all around. Today I'm going to be doing the front ones. I'm going to do a conversion and I'm going to show you guys how to do it, and I'm going to try to trick the system without buying any additional parts to the vehicle, so that way you don't have an all-wheel drive code, so the car thinks that there's a 4C system in the car. You can also obviously tune it out, but I'm going to try to do it by tricking. I'm going to cut out the internals of the 4C shock and try to mount it somewhere on the car so the car thinks it's fine. There's another trick that you have to do. You have to put it into the where the resistor is. Anyways, I'll show you how to do it. Anyway, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Stay tuned. So as you guys can see, I already have the shock out. This was one of the easiest shocks I've done on any car. Literally, you unbolt these 2 screws right here, unbolt the tie rod, and it just comes right off. Like, I was shocked how easy that was. Well, obviously you have to take your sensor off, your ABS, just kind of unplug it and take this guy off. But other than that, then you pull these 3 and you're out. Like, literally, that was easy. And then unbolt the 4C shock on the driver's side right here. There's going to be a connector right here. You'll see it anyways, right by your strut mount there. So yeah. I pulled it out. I got the shocks. I got Miley's for the front. This is how they look. They look similar. Besides, there's a bracket on this one for, I don't know what that is. This box right here. I don't know if I need it. Oh man, I wish I knew what this was. Anyways, if any of you guys know, I'm probably gonna end up cutting this off of here and sanding this down and welding it up to here. I don't know if I need it, but hey, why not? So I may end up welding that up, but other than that, it seems pretty similar. They have this bracket right here to put here also, so that's all there. Other than height wise, as you guys can see, it's identical. Shocks, they look like, even the shock part, like the size wise, yeah, they look identical, to be honest. So yeah, we're gonna be putting those up. And then there's the part that I'm gonna be cutting out or pulling out. Probably gonna try to pull it out first. If not, I'm gonna get a grinder and cut that out. So yeah, that's where we're at now. So as you guys can see, I transferred everything. Everything looks identical to the strut mount on the top, to the regular S60 T5 all-wheel drive, the spring mount, the bearing, everything is identical. So if your bearing and top part is not bad, don't replace it. It's the same exact thing. If it is bad, which mine, it's rough, it probably wasn't bad, but I still got it. I got new boots, new bump stops that I put in. I took the older ones out and put the metal plate there. I put the bump stops, and then don't forget the dust boot right there, the little cover that goes over your shock right there. Don't forget that, because that will help keep out all the debris out of your shock. I forgot I had to take it back apart. And then on here, you tighten this first, and then after that you put this cover on top like that, and then you put the bolt on top of this. If any of you guys, if you haven't done it, that's how you do it. So yeah, but for that, I can't make up my mind whether I should sand it down and just cut it, this part right here, to mount the little box, or should I just leave it and just mount it somewhere up top. I don't know if it has anything to do with the 4C shock or not, because if it doesn't and I take it off, might give me some issues. So I might as well probably just weld it on here, and that's it. Yeah, I'm gonna cut this off right now and then weld it on this side here, because that's where it mounts. So yeah. Okay, so you guys, I grinded it down so it's smooth, so it doesn't get in the way of bolting that bolt, and then smooth it out here so it doesn't have any bubbles. So yeah, I'm gonna mount it now. Now it's good. So I have a mount for that little box, so I don't have to worry about where to stick it. If you guys don't have a welder, this is optional. You guys can just stick the box anywhere up on top of the engine or something like that. I just decided to mount it where it is. If you have a welder and you're handy with a welder, just do what I did, and just leave it there. I guess, yeah, that's what I chose to do. It's the easiest. I have a welder right here, so I just said, why not? And I decided to go with with IPD springs. They were on there already. There's back ones, also IPD springs. So I didn't want to put. I have the stock R springs. I was gonna put those on, but at the same time, I'm only doing fronts today, and I don't want to screw up the alignment too bad. So yeah. Anyways, so I decided to just go with these. So since I'm going stock suspension, might as well just go a little lower for better handling. Since I'm gonna have no 4C anymore. Okay, so you guys can see everything fits perfect, no problems at all. Up here too, lines up. I ordered all the parts for this is an 04 S60R. I ordered a 2004 Volvo S60 all-wheel drive 2.5T. These are all the parts for 2.5T. So everything, as you can see, lines up perfectly, no issues. Yeah, IPD springs matching the color of that. That's awesome. So yeah, that's how you do that. And then I'm gonna probably do the bypass, you know, cutting out the other part after I do the other front one. Or maybe I'll just do it now. I'll see. I may just put that side up and then do both of them and then do the electrical part. On the bottom here, as you guys can see, there's this cap. Try to pry it carefully without breaking this. I use this kind of tool right here, and I just kind of pried it without cracking this. Once you crack that open, you're gonna see this. You see that bolt looking thing in the center? I tried to take it out, it won't come out, but I sliced into it. There's nothing inside, so it's just a metal. I believe that's there to create resistance. So what did I come up with? I got a bolt about approximately the same size, and I'll be, oh, that's hot. I threw it because it's hot. So I'm gonna put it in here, just like that. And I'm gonna get some Gorilla Glue or something and glue it in there. And then I'm just gonna place it somewhere, just zip tie it, just like, you know, roll it so it doesn't take a lot of space. Plug it in and zip tie it to the vehicle somewhere. And that's gonna be it. So yeah, pretty simple to do. If this works, I'm telling you guys, I'm gonna save you guys a lot of headache and a lot of trouble and a lot of money. But I think this should work. I'm gonna give it a shot. Hey, why not? Because especially for the newer ones, the resistance won't work like for 05 and newer. The 04 works, but so this type of thing, this is gonna replicate the original part. So yeah, we have a 07 also. If this works, we're gonna try it on 07 and see if that works. So I'm gonna do the front ones for the 04 year today, see if that works, and then if it does, I'll do the rears probably next week, and then we'll probably do an 07 and see if that works on the 07. So yeah, that's how we're gonna do. We're gonna place it in this hole right here, and then super glue or Gorilla Glue or something in there. I was hoping that box wasn't gonna be there on this side. It is. So man, I mounted that one wrong. I had it pointing this way. I gotta bring it down. Dang it. Okay, so we did the same thing here. Just welded that. Not too perfect the welds, but I don't really care. Not really. I just wanted to make sure it's on there. So I'm gonna do the same thing right here, so you can see it's kind of bubbly right here. So I don't want the nut to be hitting there from the tie rod. So I'll just flatten it out right here, and we're good to go with this one too. And that's it. Okay, you know what, you guys, I noticed that this little thing had a little wire sticking out of it, like a little bare little, I don't know where it is, I can't really see it, but I have a feeling that that metal piece is not going to do the trick. I have to take this apart and then solder the wires back to the magnet or whatever is in this thing, and then put this thing, and then it will work. I'm pretty sure it's not going to work because I think there was wire shorting these or connecting these two. Now I ripped them, so I might have to break this plastic apart, solder the wires to the metal, and then put this bolt in there. But we'll see. I'm going to leave it like this for now, and then we'll take it for a drive. We'll see. Okay, you guys, so this is how it sits with them. So about I would say 2 fingers would go in. That's how the back, it was a tiny bit lower with the bad shocks. Well, I mean with the 4C bad shocks. And then same thing about on this side, but they'll settle in. I'll drive it, I'll let you guys know exactly how, you know, how it looks. But that's how it looks with these aftermarket non-4C shocks and IPD lowering springs. Yep, so the chassis settings, service required. So yeah, it did come up. Well, it's switching, but yeah. Anyway, chassis service. So I'm gonna have to look at that. I'm gonna go for a drive right now and see how it feels, and then I'm gonna look into that. Probably gonna have to break that plastic thing, and I'm gonna have to probably solder the wires to the magnet or to the metal part that's on there. So yeah, we'll see. Wow, what a difference. Like, this car felt like you were driving on a rock. Like, it was ridiculous. Now it's just so smooth. Nice. That's what I wanted. And the back's still bad, obviously. I didn't really do anything to the back ones. I don't know if I mentioned this in yesterday's video, but when I started the video, I don't even remember. I was tired yesterday, so when I started doing this. Today is another day, obviously, when I, you know, completing this job. I actually, if you remember from my previous video, when I assembled the engine and started test driving, I had exhaust noise. That was one of the gaskets. I put them upside down. I don't know how I did that, but I fixed that. I replaced all the PCV/vacuum hoses that go to the intake manifold, that goes to the PCV over there, and it goes all the way to the intake, all the way by the turbo on the intake pipe, or in the intake hose, or whatever you want to call it. Yeah, I replaced all those because all those were really bad and kept popping off, so I had to replace all those. I also had when I put the intake box on, I forgot to tighten the clamp, so I had a loose clamp there. Anyways, yeah, so along the way, and then I had a loose ground on the engine behind, it's a metal wire, metal string ground that goes to the body of the car and to the engine. I also didn't have that hooked up. So yesterday I kind of found a bunch of things that I actually fixed, and then obviously I do this thing, you know, the retrofit from the 4C shocks to the regular shocks, and just showing you guys that they fit and how to do it. My next goal is gonna be trying to fix the 4C or the all-wheel drive, the chassis setting light. Actually went away. That's weird. Woo, it hauls. It's actually pretty nice. And just how smooth. The back is not, you know, when the back shocks are bad, they're not that noticeable. But when the front ones are bad, oh man, they'll let you know about it. Like, your car feels like it's going through hell. If you guys drive cars and you had bad shocks, you probably know what I'm talking about. But man, it shakes the brains of the car out big time. And every time you hit a little hole or a little bump, you just, you know, like, you're like cringing. Especially for somebody that works on cars. Oh my goodness, it was impossible to drive. But now it's so smooth. And the first thing I noticed is my tires don't rub no more, because before, when I was turning like a full, you know, full crank to one side, my tires would rub. I'm cranking, no tire rub, no nothing. on turns, and the chassis light went away. That's weird, and I can switch between the modes. That doesn't make any kind of sense. And it's not popping up here. Huh. Interesting. Oh boy. I'm gonna just stop and I'm gonna accelerate, see if it spins tires. Yep, it does spin front tires. Yesterday, like, I don't know what the deal with that was, but when I had a check engine light, it was a mass airflow sensor. I think the wires or whatever shorting off. When I had that light, my all-wheel drive would not work. And it's doing that again. I don't have a check engine light. And then I fixed that, cleared it, and then the check engine light went away and the all-wheel drive started working. It's a weird, that's odd. I'm gonna check the system and see if there's any codes in the system for the all-wheel drive and why is it not working. But yeah, there's no chassis light. Like, I don't know if it's supposed to be coming up, but I'm like, I'm trying to list through this and it's not showing any chassis light, so I don't know. I stopped. I'm gonna pull out and see if it spins again. Nope. Nope, no wheel spin at all. Okay, so it's good now. What did I just do? I went home, took the mass airflow sensor out, checked the wiring, wrapped it in electrical tape and everything. I didn't really do anything to the wiring, just took the electrical tape off that I put on yesterday. I looked at it and it looked fine, so just covered it with electrical tape again, and that's it pretty much. What else did I do over there? Yeah, tied up some stuff, made it look cleaner and stuff. Let's stop again. Let's just do it for the heck of it. Wheel spin. Nope, none. You heard it probably. No wheel spin at all. So yeah, it's working now, all good. I don't know what the deal is with that. Let me see. Yeah, chassis setting is there now. I'm checking like the messages, chassis setting, and then yeah, and then I have obviously the BCM, the brake control module I need to send out to get repaired. I'll buy a good one and have dealership program it, but other than that, yeah, everything's good. I don't know, the steering wheel squeaks a little bit somewhere over here, probably plastic or something like that, but yeah, it runs. Like, it's actually pleasant driving it now. Like, I'm driving and I'm just relaxing, no noises. You should have heard how bad, you probably already heard it even from the video that I was driving when I rebuilt the engine. After I rebuilt the test drive, you probably, if you guys turn up your volume, you can listen to it when I drive. It is ridiculous. Boom, 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 boom. Like, it's something always rattling, like clunking and all. It was bad. But the bearing, I thought maybe it was strap bearing, but yeah, this is just the shock. That's how the shock, what kind of noises the shocks make. There's a bunch of stuff in the 4C shock inside of it, so when it goes bad, it will make all kinds of noises. Here, like I went over like really rough bump, nothing. Another one, nothing. It's smooth. The back is a little loose, you can feel it. Yeah, it's not, the shocks are not good anymore. But yeah, it's definitely good. I would recommend going this way. I'm gonna, obviously at the end of this video, I'm gonna go eat right now, and then I'm gonna go back in the shop, and then I will break that open, the sensor part, and then try to solder it together and see if I can get rid of the chassis setting light. Okay, so as you guys can see, that was in this right here, down in the shock. So I just put a pair of pliers on that right there in the center part, locking pliers, and just twisted it out. It's like a bolt with some with threads, and then you just screw it out, and then you have to cut it open. You cut carefully through the top part. It's about this thin, and then what you're gonna find in there is this guy. This is a resistance coil. Inside I kind of sliced a little bit through it. I don't know if you guys can see. Let me see. Right here. You guys can see right there.
That's a resistance coil in there. So there's, I think there's a bunch of wires in there. Anyways, you see those two little wires, one right there, and there was another bump right here. I kind of cut it down because right here, as you guys can see, there's two right there. So what I'm gonna do now, I got the wires, so I'm gonna solder this wire to this one and this one to that one right there. And then you're gonna have to probably either cut this and put it inside of this to trick the system, because I don't know if they create some sort of a magnetic field or something inside of this, and it will probably most likely sense that you don't have this in there or anything, any screw or anything in there. Just make sure you have one of that right there, because this electrical wire resistance, it most likely creates some sort of magnetic field which is when a screw or something like this comes in, as when it senses. So anyways, that's gonna be my I'm gonna try that right there. I'm gonna solder that on, cut this off and put it inside and put insulation tape over it and plug it in and go for a drive. And we'll see. I'll let you know. I'll shut off the car a few times and drive it, and I'll let you know how it goes. I got a soldering gun, some solder right here, electrical solder. So yeah, we'll do that, and then I'll do that to both of them, and then I'll get back to you guys whenever I'm gonna go for a test drive, or before I go for a test drive. I'll show you guys you know, what I ended up with. But yeah, this is I cut this open, and then this guy came out. Actually, on top of that, it was also, I had to pull this off, this guy off right here, on top of this guy. So I had to pull that metal piece off of there, and then both of those came out of there. Okay, so I soldered those on. Now I got this kind of screw. I'm just gonna actually put a screw in there like that, and I'm also gonna just tape it up. So I'm gonna tape the screw in there and then tape all this together like that. And then I'll figure out where I'm gonna put it in the car. So as you guys can see, I have a screw in there, those two wires, and then I'm just gonna wrap it real nicely around this way and then this way. So anyways, I'm gonna seal it real nicely in there. So on this side, I mounted it right there. As you guys can see, I kind of where the wiring harness is, I kind of ran right along the wiring harness right there. And then on the passenger side, on driver's side, I ran it around the hose and right there by the wiring harness also. So I had a bunch of room here. So yeah, now it's done. Let's cross our fingers and hopefully that fixes it. So I have the car running, the brakes and ABS light obviously for the brake control module, but let's go and check engine control module, see what codes we have there. Brake pedal, so that's yeah, that's body control module. Mass airflow sensor flow too high. Huh. That's interesting. That's maybe because of the filter that I have in there. Okay. Well, I'll adjust it because I have a garbage, some filter there. I don't know, but why did it come on so soon? I only idled it for a bit. Anyways, that's that. And then let's go suspension module. That's the main one we're concerned about. Codes, nothing. Brake control module code, no codes for the suspension. When I checked, when I came back before I cleared the codes in the system, I came in the car and I scanned the codes. There was a code for left front suspension module and right front, suspension shock. There was a shock absorber signal something, but now I cleared it. I start the car up. I'm gonna do the same thing again. I'm gonna shut it off, take the key out, and start it back up again, shut it off, and then do that a couple times, and then I'll check if it comes back. So I'll be right back. So I did a few ignition cycles, shut it off, turn it on, take the key out, did that like 2 or 3 times. Let's see now, go suspension module again, and let's see for codes. None. Just the body control, a brake control module, BCM. That's it. No more for shock absorber. So yeah, that fixed the issue. No more, and it's not coming up here no matter how many times I cycle the key. And I'm gonna go for a test drive and see if it pops up, but I highly doubt it. So I'm gonna go for a test drive really quick, and then I'll scan it, and then I'll also pay attention to the dash, make sure it's not popping up there like it was. So yeah, so I'm back. I've been driving for probably good 5-6 miles. Let's go in the engine if any of those codes changed. Brake pedal, that's from the brake control module. Intake air leakage, faulty signal. Huh? Mass airflow sensor, flow too high. Intake air leakage. Okay, that's interesting. Anyways, that's for the engine. And then let's go for the suspension module. Codes. Front left. Damn it. I must have screwed that one up. So yeah, anyways, I must have ripped it off or something, because there's no right one, there's only front left code. But anyways, that's how you guys do it. That's how you get rid of it. There was no lights on here, so this must have been like, maybe, I don't know, to be honest, but there was nothing on this, like messages, there's none. It was popping up before, now it's not popping up. I don't know why it's still in the system, but one of them popped up, the other one didn't. But yeah, that's how you guys that's how you do what do you call it, retrofit or whatever you want to call it, from 4C shocks to regular shocks. It's probably going to be easier just to buy the resistors. I'm going to include in the video the resistors that you need, that people used. I decided to try it this way without buying the resistors, if you do it properly. And or I might have soldering probably wasn't too good or something on one of them. I'm gonna double check. I'm gonna have to take it out and double check it if I get any messages. But for now I have no messages, and this was switching fine. So you know, I'm not gonna bother unless, you know, let me see if I can clear that code. And then let's go out and then go into the suspension module again. Yeah, see, it's not popping up. It must have been a malfunction or something like that in that one, but it's not popping up anymore. I'll drive it again and I'll scan it again and see if it pops up, but it shouldn't. Even if it does, I'll take it apart, I'll check my soldering. My soldering probably either, or when I was taping it, I must have ripped it off or something, if it does come back. But yeah, but the engine code, I'm definitely gonna look into it, because that seems like an intake leak of some sort. Intake air leakage, faulty signal, and then the mass airflow sensor, flow too high. That's interesting. I'm gonna have to put the regular air filter on it. I'm gonna clear the code and I'm gonna check it, but I'm gonna also check for leaks, make sure I tightened everything, make sure there's nothing loose or ripped, any hoses. So yeah, I'm gonna check all that. But these, the brake sensor, that's from the brake control module. It's tripping like that, it's throwing weird codes because it's messed up inside. Okay, you guys, so that's gonna be it for today's video. I drove the car today, yesterday, so let's go over the things that I have done to the car already. And I don't know if I probably mentioned in the video, I fixed the exhaust leak because I just had one of the gaskets upside down. Hooked up a ground that was loose, and then I retrofitted from 4C to the regular shocks. So the all-wheel drive light did not come back. I've been driving it yesterday a lot, today like a bunch of times. The all-wheel drive light did not come on, there's no code, so I don't know, that probably was just a glitch. But yeah, the by doing this retrofit and actually soldering those two resistors from the shocks, it actually works. Just make sure you do it properly, and then you know, waterproof and all that. But yeah, the few things that we still have to do, that I have to do to this car, is I'm gonna do the same thing for the rear shocks, because they're not making too much noise and it's not too important. But I'm gonna get to those. I already bought the shocks anyway, so I'm gonna get to those soon. I have to figure out the check engine light with the mass airflow sensor. I think the mass airflow sensor is bad, so I'm gonna figure that out, probably change it, buy a new one. And then what else? Let's see here. And an all-wheel drive system, for some reason it has a mind of its own. Like one time you start a drive, it works, you shut it off, another time it doesn't work for some reason. I don't know what's going on, what the deal is with that. There's no codes in the system for it or anything like that, so I don't know what the deal with that is. But all those things are going to be worked on, and I'm going to be documenting. I'm going to try to document everything as much as possible. You know, I'm going to try to make detailed videos on certain things that I think are important, that you guys probably going to find useful. Little things that, you know, probably not going to be interesting, I'm probably just going to do it and just report to you guys what I did. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and as usual, see you next time.